we don't need another person going into the arts to prove that they have value or to get validation or become famous or make money.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.
Welcome to the show, M. Night, Saleka, Shyamalan. So good to have you here.
Thank you for having us.
Well, thanks for being had. In 2 weeks, this film, they're saying this is the film of the season.
Oh.
Trap, it's coming out. Are you a little nervous right before a film comes out?
I do get that way. I don't like that part of it. For me, I'm talking about me. I don't like that part of my emotional journey with these movies, of the anxiety because I've finished the movie, and so in that stoic thing, you should let go. I don't have control over this part of it, and then I'm still holding it tight. This is movie 16, so it's like 30 years and 16 movies that should stop already.
But each one's your baby. So it's like your baby's about to go out into the world and you want everyone to like your baby,
I don't have any control over that,
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't like your baby. But this is very interesting parallel that's going on. Of course, your daughter Saleka is here.
Yeah.
And of course, she is featured in the film. And we're going to get into that in a moment. Well, so it's like having a daughter, you got to let her go one day and let her fly.
I'm equally bad at that. Yeah.
Is he not doing well? I mean, do you still live at home, or are you?
I'm there half the time, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. He built a studio in the house, so I work there.
Oh,
that's how you do it.
How creepy!
He's built in
this is
all
how
the
we keep her.
things my sisters and I need, so we can never leave.
There you go.
It's beautiful.
This is a basis.
Two live in New York now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then she lives downtown Philly. But
This is another premise for a film: the dad who just can't let go.
it's called being Indian.
Okay.
So that's how
That was the first thing I thought.
Yeah,
I was like, how very Indian of you. Yeah.
Explain that, Gandhi.
Indian people love to stay with their family until we die.
There's nothing wrong with
Or
that.
get married and then you have permission to leave. But
then
I
you
don't
have to
live
be
with the
with
family
them.
and it's so stressful. How could you not be there? Yeah. I love it. I'm glad you
it's
did
a
it.
different concept of nuclear family, and as opposed to like, I'm 18, let's go to the University of Miami, let's go. That's a different mentality than, hey, go to the closest college you can, and come back and see us and have food, and your mom
washer
will
and
cook.
dryer.
Yeah, exactly, the whole thing.
A refrigerator. We'll let you eat our food.
There's definitely a lot of Asian
great
guilt
thing.
that's invoked,
Oh,
and so
There's so much. Why would you want to
Why
leave
would
me?
you
Yeah,
wanna
they don't
leave?
understand.
No, I'm completely
reason?
crushed. When we dropped her at college, that was
That was one of
literally
the
the worst
saddest
moment of
days.
my life up to that point.
Oh, you broke your dad's heart.
Yeah.
Literally just sat in the car and wept.
Yeah.
Oh.
We all did, Bob, everybody. We just wept. She walked in, and there were a lot of big dudes around her, and she went into this dorm and just started crying.
But how far did she go from
She went
you?
to Brown. So it was about
5 or 6 hours away.
Yeah.
Oh, my son goes in England to school. So how's that?
I know. Well,
Yeah.
that's not allowed.
That's
Yeah,
not.
radius.
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like we should go back to that moment and cry just for a moment.
Let's not, please.
Let's relive that. All right, let's talk
Summer.
about the film. Okay, Trap,
Yeah.
like it's in theaters only. Theaters only now. This is in exactly 2 weeks from today. Okay, so the trailers. And I'm not going to say what I think this is about because I don't want to screw anything up because I'm probably wrong. But Josh Hartnett.
Yeah.
Josh Hartnett could be a creepy guy, play a creepy character. But this character he's playing is a dad taking his daughter to see Saleka. Of course, not Saleka. Lady Raven is your character, right?
Yes.
What a cool dad. It's like all the dads you see at the Taylor Swift concert.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's something going on there, and I can't put my finger on it. I don't want to start guessing. I don't want to screw anything up. Am I kind of right?
You haven't said anything.
Okay, good.
So far, so good.
But yes, you're right. No, the culture of going to concerts. Sometimes you write something and the culture moves away from you or it moves towards you. And since we thought of the idea, the culture moved towards us with Taylor Swift and Beyonce and everything, even Kendrick, everything you can imagine. The culture has moved towards this thing of going as a group to go see an artist is the thing that everyone is talking about, and especially with Taylor and the whole families, and you see the girl dads going, and obviously everything I write is based on kind of my relationship to the girls or our family in some way, and so there's always a nuclear family at the center of something really unusual. So this is just one more thought of this.
But you're not creepy like Josh Hartnett. So
Well, Josh is not creepy either. But he's still, in fact,
so
Josh,
sweet.
he's the sweetest
He's
guy.
the sweetest person.
He came. We were shooting in Ireland, and he lives in London, and he came and said, "Hey, can I come see you?" I was thinking about who to cast in the role, And he came and said, I'd love to come see you. I said, hey, if you want to come, that'd be amazing. So he came to Ireland, and we had lunch, and we talked about being dads of 3 girls, each of us, and the energy. We had lunch together, and I was like, this is the guy. This is the guy. It's not about just the actor or the actress. It's where they are in their lives. And so it's a combination of their skill set, but where they are emotionally. And Josh was dead on. I was seeing the superstar. I was seeing somebody that you would fall in love with, which is what I need for the movie. And he was just so open. Even the act of flying to Ireland to have lunch with me, out of graciousness of what he felt about me and wanting to be in my movies, that's not done. People don't do that. People don't risk like that. And he just finished Oppenheimer and did that Black Mirror episode, and I was like, and I said to him, this is why you're getting these moments. You're so open, and you're bringing your skill set with vulnerability to the table.
Well, obviously his character has a lot going on. Mm-hmm. Am I kind of right? I mean, how much can we say? I mean, I don't want to give it away, but I think he's up to no good in this film.
It's very possible. It's very possible.
Well, if we saw it in the trailer, can we say?
Yeah. If it's in the trailer, you could say.
Yeah, no, he's looked several looks on his face. It leads me.
Yeah, he's a bad guy.
Yeah, he's a very bad guy.
It was something that was stuck in my head. Well, first of all, Saleka and I were talking a lot about music. We've watched her, for her whole life doing music and going on tour with her, and backstage, and she's opening for this person or that person, and we're at Radio City Music Hall, wherever it is, and that culture of the music. And I was like, gosh, we should do something like Purple Rain, where you write an album for a narrative purpose, and the entire album is the characters are actually. It's called diegetically watching. So it's within the narrative story. They're watching. It's not music, not score. It's not like over a montage. It's the characters are watching you sing that. And could we think of an idea where you could take the two mediums, take the music and take thrillers and put them together?
Saleka, how many times did your dad call upon you for ideas? Did he fold you into the creative process for your character or for anything else with Trap?
Well, for music-wise, I wrote all of the music and produced all of it, so I think that was obviously a big element of the character itself, and us sitting together and me kind of showing him musical ideas and him saying, this feels right for the movie or this doesn't feel right, and kind of curating what does this concert feel like, what is Lady Raven's sound, and how does it kind of score underneath everything that's happening with Josh Hartnett's character. So that was, very collaborative, and I think the idea for the movie was just something we were kind of ideating on for a while, and how to bring music and film together. And, it's obviously in Indian culture that's a very big thing. Bollywood movies, music and film are kind of equals in that, and so it's something that feels very natural when we wanted to do it in our own kind of Shyamalan way. But yeah, I think the original ideas we kind of brainstormed together, and then he wrote the most incredible script.
Actually, this wasn't for me to direct.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so this was for we said, hey, do the, yeah, I know, right? So I kind of just jumped on. The story begins actually because she was up for the lead of a big TV show. We're not going to say what TV show.
Damn.
And she was really seriously considered for it, and I directed her in the audition for that. And so I was like, and then when we did this one take, I saw that thing that I look for, and I was like, whoa, Saleka, that was amazing, what you just did. So I work with two groups of actors. I work with complete new, and most of the time they're kids, or somebody that has very little experience because they're close to the rawness of who they are, or highly trained theater actors that are also very close to their center in a way that middle group I don't tend to work with. It's one or the other because they're so close to truth. And then I try to I'm so formal in the way I shoot that I'm looking for that rawness of honesty in there that explodes the kind of formality that I had. So that moment when I saw her, I was like, whoa, that was really, really great, and they saw too this particular show. And then
which is called.
Can't tell you.
Why did it be that way?
But then we said, when we started thinking about this was for somebody else. I was going to, hey, I can come up with this idea. I'll come up with an idea. And then we said, oh, well, hey, look, it'll take place at a concert, I think. And, we could do it in a kind of like a contained, like an arena concert. It'll all feel very, claustrophobic and suspenseful. And then I would come up with another idea. Oh, Saleka, how about this? How about this? And then I said, oh, how about it's about this thing? And then I came up with the angle on it. And as soon as I came up with the angle on it, I was like, I know exactly how to shoot this. And then I said, Saleka, I think I want to do this. So then I shoved the next movie away.
I'm going to ask the question. Don't get upset, because asking a father a question like this about his daughter.
Yeah.
Does someone chop your daughter up in this film? Is that a fair question?
I can't say.
Do you get chopped up in this film? Does your dad have you mutilated on camera?
Oh my God.
I don't know. I mean, look, we're talking about not reality.
You never know.
Okay.
You never know.
At any point when she wanted to do this for a living, did you say, run the other direction? Did you try to
Well, no. In our house, art is sacred. This is not a transactional thing. This is not an opportunistic thing. In fact, it's the tears have come the opposite way, where I'm like, don't be for Saleka and Ashana and the Shivani, who's the youngest, for those two, because they're older than and they both were going into the arts, and I'm super tough about this. I'm tough with everybody on the planet about this, which is we don't need another person going into the arts to prove that they have value, or to get validation, or become famous, or make money. If those are your motivations, please don't do it. Please don't do it. Wow. This is not what we want in the world, because you are just stealing everyone's agency by doing that. You're just saying, I'm willing to sell my soul for these things. That's not where you get validation. You only do it to give. And if you have something that you want to give, your point of view, then let's do it. It is a beautiful thing to be an artist, to speak. If you're coming, they'll smell that you're coming from the wrong place, that you need the validation. So I'm really tough on them. And then we have all the Asian work ethic stuff, and I'm like, you're just not working hard enough. So you know what the Asian F is? The Asian F is an A-.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's terrible.
So.
You guys are like the 1% of Indian parents who are not disappointed in their children for not being a doctor. I love this. It's amazing.
Well, wait, mom's a doctor.
I know.
Yeah.
Mama
Well, she's the
Shyamalan,
Yeah, she's the academic. Yeah.
In your family, Mela,
Yes.
in your family, how many doctors, how many attorneys, and then a radio person? Right?
Yeah.
And so they looked at you like, what the hell are you
They
doing?
still ask me all the time when I'm going to get a real job.
Yes.
This is a real job, I'm telling you. You have to do it. I love to see this, though.
Yeah, I don't think my parents even. I don't think Grandma and Mona. That's what they call my parents.
Yeah.
I don't think they really got it until I was on the cover of magazines, and then they
Even
bought
then,
every
yeah.
magazine
Right, and then they tell all their
gave it
friends.
out to friends.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
of course.
stuff,
It was all their
There's a
idea.
turning point. I knew it all along.
But I
created.
do talk about the Asian, this unusual marriage between the arts in our family and the upbringing of being Asian. In fact, you could talk about that, when I'm like, hey, stop being so Asian when you're on stage.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's been a process because I came from classical piano, which is, very disciplined and don't make mistakes and kind of don't put your own personality into it in a way. And so kind of coming to writing my own music, it was a challenge for me to come out of like trying to do everything perfect. And so now my challenge is to just be free and kind of learn how to perform and all of that. And so now he's helping me kind of get out of my shell. But, growing up, it's all, you want to get the straight A's and you want to do perfect on the SATs and you want to get the classical piano piece perfect at the recital. And, if you didn't, it's like tears and you feel like you failed. So that mentality is definitely deeply ingrained.
And then most of the time, your Indian parents will tell you also failed.
Yeah.
If you were wondering.
First,
yes.
I think I came home with like a B+ at my first semester at Brown, and they were like, "What happened? Like
What is this letter?
And I was like, "I don't know. It's Brown. It's harder."
I didn't remember that. That's terrible. What?
Let's work through this right now.
I had gotten straight A's till my high school, and then it was like first semester of college, and I took a senior course, and I was trying to do something, and I think I got like a B+, and they were like, "There's a B. What is this?"
Okay, let's all stop being so Asian.
It's calmed down.
Yeah,
we're more open now.
Yeah, the idea, I think, the cultural belief, like my parents are both doctors, and that hey, you do these kind of things that are laid out for you, and you do it in a prescriptive way, and you do it with integrity, and you will succeed. But this is not the road of the arts, and there is no book. And so for me and for her and for Ashana and all, there is no way, because it's an opinion. And there's no playbook of how to do it. So turning off that part of our brain that we've used to protect ourselves to be vulnerable and open and be free on stage or when she's writing music. And I go, stop thinking, for Ashana and Saleka, you have to turn off your brain. You have to subjugate it to your instincts. And that's a hard lesson to learn, because your brain has made them so successful up until that point. Now I'm saying, and the art form is saying, turn it off, and make it put it where it belongs, which is in the lower seat.
In comparison, I'm Scottish. My parents were like, turn on your brain.
Now is the time.
Put some sort of effort into it, whatever it was. So this is mind-blowing. Let's get back to Trap.
Yeah, please.
All right. So, again, 2 weeks from today. It's in theaters only. And you, of course, are known, Knight, for these films that have these crazy twists and these turns. But there's something else I've noticed about your films. And even in the trailer on Trap, there's just something you do with these shots, these angles. You know that something's about to happen. I don't know. I got tension built up in my neck just by the way you handle how the camera relates with the actor. You can see it coming, and it's like hair stands on the back of your neck. And I've noticed that. I've noticed that all the way back to I See Dead People. I mean, all the way back to that film which I was introduced to you, of course, by. And
I just heard the Kendrick song after you said that. Did you?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
I know.
Sixth Sense was actually still one of my top 5 favorite films of all time. But you have that way. Is it you, or is that the person behind the camera? How do you use something like a lens to build tension?
Well, first of all, thank you for that and articulating that. It is the primary thing of cinema that's important to me. There's the writing process. There's the curation of the individuals, the actors. Those are all incredibly important. And then there's the post-production process. But the process you're talking about is the cinematic integrity of each shot. And there's 2 philosophies. There's kind of like that. I don't want to get. We could go on and on about this, but like a hunters and gatherers philosophy in my mind, And the gatherers philosophy is, hey, I'm going to shoot all of you and different things. Anything that comes to mind. Oh, great! I'll shoot that. I'll shoot this. And then we gather it, and then we put together a kind of a meal afterwards based on the best of the things we've gathered. But there's the hunters, and those are the much, much rarer, because it's highly dangerous, which is, I'm not shooting you. I'm going to do your shot like this, and it's going to move over to her line over here, because that's when you get distracted by her, and then it's going to move over here, and that's all we're doing, and we're going to do 12 takes of that. That's all we're going to do. That's a hunter mentality, and try to go. It's high risk, but I feel more in that way for me as a viewer. And so it's you and there is a right place for where the camera goes from the individual. The right lens. Is it 27 millimeter? Is it a 21 millimeter, which is wider, which makes you more distorted, just slightly more distorted. The environment's more important. So you inside the environment. So I get a little closer, and you getting a tiny bit more bent as I do that. These are unconscious choices. How's the lighting hitting? All these things. And when does the camera move? Hey, you have to make a decision. The character makes a decision, and then I'll tell the operator, don't you move until he makes that decision. And it's in his eyes. You're listening. And then when you make the decision, you haven't done anything. You're just making the decision. And so all of those, the audience feels that, again, the integrity of that in every frame. And so, I'm going up against, Deadpool and Inside Out, 7 and all these movies. And all I got is this. That's all I have. And so when I'm going on and I'm trying to say, hey, I can stand amongst you guys in the audience, but just this, that they're feeling, whether they articulate it as beautifully as you did, or they're just feeling it, that when they watch Saleka or Josh, or they even hear Saleka in the movie, that they'll know instantly, was that manufactured, or did that come from a real artist who spent her entire life studying music and said something truthful? I believe that you can hear that.
And there's one shot in the trailer of Josh Hartnett's face, and I don't know if it was planned or it just happened. You could see he's very tense. He's nervous almost. His face is stone stone. It's stone.
It's an extreme close. Is it the red one? He's a little.
And then out of nowhere, his lip has one little nervous twitch.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. And when his little lip twitched, you saw the trailer, right? I was like, holy shit, something's going on here. Yeah. It was definitely a hair-raising moment.
Yeah, again, he's so incapable of inauthenticity. So if he's thinking it comes on his face. You don't try to do that. It's just, and so that shot, I think you're talking about the extreme close-up of his eyes, and so that's at a particular moment where he feels he has no moves left, and he's going to be caught. And so it's and in the intensity of this thriller happening in a pop concert is that it's becoming like too much, So it's what was funny is now becoming a funhouse mirror aberration, and so he's feeling all this in that moment, and all we talk about is where you are, and you're out of moves.
Brilliant. So obviously he's done some bad stuff.
Clearly.
Caught.
So when you are working with your dad on something like this, obviously he's made 16 movies and you're now starting to venture into this. I know you're an actor and you're a professional, but are there any times that you're like, Dad, I do not like that angle. Take it out.
Oh, that's not an option. That's not even a conversation. I don't even know what's going on over there.
He was talking about that wide angle, distorts your body. I'd be like, Dad, don't you dare.
It was like when I saw the movie, I had to process a little bit my insecurities of just seeing myself on screen because I'm just not used to that. And, you notice all of the flaws that you hate about yourself. So that was a process. But during the shoot, it's not something that I was thinking about or supposed to think about, and I would never dare tell him to do anything.
That would be awesome.
That has to do with the film.
Only mom does that.
But Saleka, I mean, your character, Lady Raven, I mean, a lot of these shots are you full makeup with full stage dress, and just as a performer, you are dressed up to impress. So those are beautiful shots, by the way. You must have a lot of fun with your daughter in the lens on the stage.
Yeah, it's not, we grew up, talking about art. It wasn't, when I'm working with them, it's very incredibly natural. This isn't like a acidic thing, or it was very natural because we're not coming from, hey, I want you to do well. I'm like, I want you to defend Lady Raven. And there's who is she? And so always when I'm talking to an actor, it's always coming from that. But then her music as well. And so, when we did the concert in the movie, it's a real concert. I mean, it's a full blown. And it's funny when you see like singers that are in movies and they do a concert, it kind of feels fake. When you see it most of the time because it's not real. That dance move wasn't actually thought out. That costume wasn't actually thought out. It was just a bunch of ideas that were like, we're going to make an ersatz version of a concert, facsimile of a concert. This was genuinely.
We prepped it like we prep a tour, basically.
That's crazy.
So, and this is all happening in the
arena.
In my dreams.
So that's happening in the background, the depth of it, and you feel it. That is a real concert, and it just gives very similar to what you're watching and the things that are happening to Josh in the foreground.
Wow, how fun!
So much fun.
I don't know. I think I need to see that. I need to try to get this trailer to work tonight. I'm going to call them again today and try to get this.
Yeah, can you share the code?
What's that?
Can you share the code?
Yes.
Thank you.
We'll steal the film. You got plenty of people. So as you set up for a release, like for instance, Trap in 2 weeks. Wow, what's that anticipation journey like for you? I mean, you're still 2 weeks out.
Yeah.
So what happens between now and the day it releases? Like, where do your emotions go? What will you be both thinking about between now and then?
You want to answer first because mine's coming from a different place. So.
I mean, I'm just excited. I mean, we have 2 weeks of getting to kind of travel the world and talk about the movie and talk about this amazing experience that for me was like just one of the greatest experiences of my life. And I just submitted the album 2 days ago, and it's coming out with the movie. And so I'm excited for that music to be out and extremely nervous and, all of the things, but it's all very positive and I'm very proud of the movie and I can't wait to watch it again.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that. Congratulations.
Thank you.
This must be just exhilarating for you.
It's very exciting. I'm like freaked out and excited all the time.
Yeah. You deserve to be freaked out.
Two things that popped into my head, which is I'm going to answer the question, but there was another thought that popped into my head. which is, the way we're talking and, is like, oh, Saleka and this kind of, neophyte and we're doing it. And even the way you convey yourself, you conveying that in the way you're speaking right now. That's not actually what this is. That this is a 27, almost 28-year-old artist, and pretend she's not here for a second. This is, for me, she is what I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be that daring, that dedicated to my work, that inspired. She is an artist at the highest level. And so this is not like, it is a dad and daughter, but that's irrelevant. This is about an artist. Honestly, there's like, on the planet, there's like less than 10 people that could have done what I asked her to do, to be in this movie and write 14 original songs in the time period that we did, to this narrative in that way. And she's always been, from when she was 4 in classical piano, there's just been something, her ability to intuit art in that way. And she's gotten a ton of attention for that from 4 years old all the way through, and has always made the right ethical decision in the arts. So there was a moment when she was like 15, 16, she could have become a pop star. There was incredible opportunities offered. She didn't feel it. And she did, that wasn't where she wanted to go, and studied jazz and went to school and all that stuff. So it's being reminded, you teach your children and they teach you right back if you did it right. And she's teaching me, and honestly, so, and Josh will tell you the same thing, it was being with a world-class artist. And, I'm sure, if it was a poet or a painter, it's the same feeling. So I just didn't want to leave it like, hey, this is that's not what it was. And when I left Trap, like I finished it, whatever it was, 3 weeks ago, or whatever, it was incredibly sad to leave it when I left the editing room for the last time, because I loved the movie so much, and it was such an incredible moment to work with. The people that I was working with, the universe kind of smiled on us with Josh and Saleka, and what they both did was so rare and so unique, because from where they were coming from, which is, and the audience can feel it, So I was just feel super lucky. I don't know, and you have to go, hey, there's a lot of randomness involved, and so it may not happen again. It may not happen again. That kind of beauty. And so look, that is affecting how I'm feeling about this. This is one of the rare times where I finished the movie and I was like, that is what I intended, 100%. And I had enough time, and I did it. And sad I can't be with those characters anymore.
Saleka, what's it like to hear him say these things and talking about acknowledging your contribution?
I'm getting teary-eyed.
Well, no, I mean, he's not saying you just showed up.
Yeah,
he's saying you contributed heavily to the production. Do you hear your dad talking, or do you hear the film boss talking?
I think both. It's all, he doesn't compromise in any capacity in his work. So he doesn't sugarcoat things. If he doesn't like something, he tells anyone, including his daughters or anybody. He just has a high standard for his work. So, and he wouldn't compromise that for his children or anybody. But so, I mean, it's an honor to feel like, your dad believes in you in the way that he would want to incorporate you into his art, which is like thing that means the most to him and all of this stuff. So for me, like, of course, as a daughter, I just wanted to, I wanted to be worthy. I wanted to prove myself. There's a lot of those emotions in there, but through the entire process, he really put his trust in me and allowed, I think, we had a lot of experiences getting to work together before the movie. So I think we got to build a little bit of groundwork there. And I wrote, 7 songs for TV show Servant. I did a song for his movie Old. And so it wasn't sort of just all of a sudden this new thing. It was kind of this process that we built towards. And I think by the time we got to this movie, our flow was great, and it was very free. And I think, once I kind of got the vision of what he intended for the music and the character, it was just, something magical, something really special.
What's it like to sit here and watch? I'm going to say a couple of words that may offend you. What's it like to sit here and see your little girl say these things from her heart, from her mind? I mean, are you and her mom really, really, really floating around on a cloud right now with this?
Well, we will always feel this way about these guys, where, she plays us the music, and, it's, we just shake our heads,
right,
because of the integrity. It's such an unusual thing. I'm not asking the world to validate her. I'm not, if everybody in the world, and she's selling out stadiums, that's fantastic. Great. That nothing better has happened than this moment. You know, it's when she plays the song and you can feel it, and the way she approached it, that's the thing. You know, our relationship to the art form is what it is, you know, and I wish I could have told my younger self that as well, because, you know, we all need to be feeling a part of the community and be accepted. And part of me has always wanted that, you know, but part of me is like, no, I have to, if I hear this color, I'm going to go for it. And that's part of what draws me. So like, you know, let's say back when I'm 29 or whatever, and I did Unbreakable, to go, hey, they're not there yet. The audience isn't there yet to understand comic books and metaphors and doing it in this way and the grounded way and all that stuff. But at that time I was like, man, maybe there's something wrong with me. And I hate that feeling when we all get talked out of our own beauty, our own agency. So I'm hoping that they understand this has nothing to do with the road of success ahead or lack of success or anything to do with that, but their relationship to the art form solely. That's it. And that is so pure right now and so amazing, so it's inspiring.
So it's a beautiful story about how this all came to be. So when you see the movie, it adds a little extra little pop to it. I love that. Plus, we're talking about a storyline in a movie that has nothing to do with what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah.
I mean, if before you get out of here, then I got to talk about the album, which is coming out in 2 weeks. Right?
Yeah.
If someone said, "Hey, Knight, what's this movie about?" It's such a stupid question, but it's a very, very pure question. What's the movie about? What journey are people going to go on when they sit down to watch this?
You know, for me, if I feel like I have the right idea, that's half of it. And then I have to find the right angle on the idea. Then that's the other half of it. How I'm telling you the story, you know? So, you know, in this case, it's a story of a man who realizes he goes to a concert with his daughter and realizes that the FBI and the police have set a trap for a serial killer at this concert. And then you realize that he's the serial killer. And so that's the angle. So I'm putting you in his shoes, and you're going to love him. And,
there you go.
You're going to love him?
We're going to love the serial killer.
And so what does that make you feel when you're with him? Like I made you him, and now you're in a trap. So now what? And at the same time, you know, all this dark stuff's happening, but there's still a pop concert going on. Taylor Swift concert's still going on.
It's pretty funny, too. There's a lot of comedy.
There's a lot of comedy.
Really
There's a lot of comedy.
Yeah.
There's a knife, butchering people. Something for the whole family.
You know, it came from this thing that I'd heard about when I was a kid. It happened in Washington, D.C. I don't know if you guys remember this. They had an event where they gave away on radio. They gave away Super Bowl tickets to all these people, and they all showed up, and you had to sign your name, and they had to verify it, and they came in, this Washington D.C., came to this thing, and there's cheerleaders and mascots and music and parade and everything, and everybody checks in and comes in, and, you know, and then they go into this ballroom, and they're all there, and there's like however many, like 500 or 1,000 of them. And then they shut the doors and said they were all criminals that they were trying to catch.
You're all under arrest.
And
I remember this.
The whole place was under arrest. And everyone, every cheerleader, every mascot was a police officer. Everyone there was a police officer. And they trapped the whole thing. And literally, you can look this up. And it's absolute mania. They're like dancing with them when they come in. Yeah! And all these criminals are so pumped about going to football. And they got them all.
It was called Operation Flagship.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
look at you.
That was it. And so you feel like
that was this. So that was this feeling like of being that this is absurdist, you know, that it's happening at this kind of event. This is where I'm going to get caught, you know.
Extremes of humanity in one place.
In 2 weeks, the album's out. So let's talk about it.
Yes.
How many songs?
It's 14 tracks.
14 tracks.
Yes.
And you perform in all of them?
Yes, yeah.
And are they all featured? They're all featured in the film as well?
Yeah, different amounts. You hear some little bit and some more featured. But yes, you can get a little taste of all of them. I'm very excited.
I have a question about this.
Yes.
So you don't ever fiddle with his process when it comes to directing and shooting a movie. Did he have anything to say about your process when it came to writing the songs for the movie?
Writing, not necessarily, but I think in terms of finding the right sound for the moments and placing the songs in the right scenes, it was very collaborative because it's his vision and what he's imagining, and every song was very specific. It wasn't like, oh, just write a bunch of songs and we'll put it in the background. It was like, in this scene, this is happening, and there's a song playing from this moment to this moment, and then it transitions to this song. So it was very, very prescribed and very curated in terms of what does the song sound like production-wise? What is the arc of production through the beginning to the end of the movie and the end of the concert, and it does escalate, and it has to kind of follow Josh Hartnett's character's kind of feelings and anxieties and ups and downs. And so I kind of tried to ride with him, even though it's being played by this other character. So it has to kind of work simultaneously. So it was very, very, specific process. And we talked through every single song. And then once we had the right songs that we wanted, we talked through different positions. And then, lyrically, some of them were too on the nose for certain spots. So we had to move them around and things like that. But so that part was very collaborative. But the writing, he really let me kind of be free with that and just take inspiration from, the characters in the script, which is like my favorite thing in the world to do. Yeah,
there was songs that were Saleka and songs that were Lady Raven. And so I was like, well, that one's a Saleka. That doesn't fit in the movie. So
are you going to get a writing or producing credit on this album?
No, I didn't do anything other than
except want these royalties.
Yeah, Dad, what are you getting out of this deal? This is awesome.
It's all in the family.
I love that.
Yeah, it's been beautiful, and even when when Columbia Records started hearing her stuff, and for the movie, you can sense they were just hearing. I do think it helps sometimes to think of yourself as a character, rather than yourself. You can, you're actually more honest in some ways, and freer. So just by writing as another character, and so I think when Columbia heard it, and felt this kind of the beauty of the intentions, things like that, it all just went click for everybody. So.
But you still have to finish college.
Well, she finished.
Oh, you finished?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Are you kidding?
You're all good now.
You're all good now.
You're off the hook.
When's the last time a film came out that used the soundtrack, used the songs like this? I mean, Purple Rain was a long time ago.
Purple Rain was a long time. Once was. Have you seen that one?
No.
The cartoon?
That's a beautiful movie.
No, it's a smaller movie. It's beautiful. Once, it's hard to do.
So the music was created specifically for...
an entire album is seen in the movie, and it's meant for that purpose in that way. Is a rare thing. That's why I think it's so beautiful. And even and Warner Brothers was using her music. If you look at the trailers, the first trailer is all Saleka's songs, and then it kind of warps, and then her voice becomes like haunting over it, and that mixture was the thing I said, hey, it's that uniqueness that's going to make the audience go, whoa, this is different.
Excellent. Wow. Well, 2 weeks from today, an album drops and a movie drops, a film drops. Of course, we're talking about Trap. Night, Saleka, thank you guys so much for coming in.
Thank you. It was so
Congratulations.
Thank you.
And can I steal your code so I can watch the thing? They shouldn't allow me on your computer. Right, hold on. Pick it up here. May I play a song? Of course, the answer is yes. Save Me. Is this? Why are we playing Save Me? There's something about this particular song that makes it.
Save Me just came out on Friday. This past Friday. I would say it's one of the earlier songs you hear in the movie, and in kind of the world of Lady Raven, we imagine this as like a single that came out before. But of course, in writing, the lyrics are thematically relevant. But I won't say too much.
So if we play Save Me, do we say this is Saleka, or do we say this is Lady Raven?
It's Saleka.
Well, tell Lady Raven we said.
I'll tell her.
And I thank you guys for coming in.
Thank you.
The Mercedes-Benz Interview Lounge.